right, everybody, it is time for my favorite part of every single video that we do. It is time to make the list. As I always encourage, please feel free to comment your list in the comment section below or send it in an email to eatsleeplistpod@gmail.com. That email address is in every single video description that we post. Would love to hear your feedback and your lists, especially for this specific topic, because we all have a favorite. All right, we all have a favorite kids' meal toy or toy line that we loved, that we adored, that we would love to have again, or that maybe one that we wish we could have had when we were growing up as kids, that we'd love to get our hands on finally, now that we have our own money, so to speak. Please comment along. But let's get to it. Here are my top 10 favorite kids' meal toys. Let's start off with my number 10. We are just coming off of the holiday of Halloween. All right, and Halloween toys, and when it came to fast food meals, were awesome. All right, you got the buckets from McDonald's. You had the chicken nuggets that you can dress up in the different costumes. Those are all great, and I had a special place in my heart for each and every single one of those. However, the one that really excited me, was the Simpsons Spooky Light-Ups and the Creepy Classics that Burger King did in 2001 and 2002. I was about 10 and 11 years old when these came out, and I wasn't really actively watching The Simpsons at the time. My parents really wouldn't allow it, but I do remember having an affinity for it because there was a point in time where I could a little bit. It became a little edgier and just really not for me as I was growing up. But Simpsons were everywhere. They were everywhere. They were popular. The Butterfinger BBs and a lot of bad video games. Some good video games, but a lot of bad video games. But I also had a lot of friends who enjoyed it considerably. So you get these as kids' meal toys. They're nice. They're big sized. They're firm. They do cool stuff. I remember having the Bart one, which was always nice because Bart was kind of the GOAT. He's the GOAT, I think, when it comes to Simpsons characters. I also do remember having the Mr. Burns one here for the spooky light-ups. But they're highly collectible. Actually, we were doing this one in the audio version a couple months ago. My friend Brian had no idea. Huge Simpsons fan, had no idea that this was a thing. But these were goated back in the day. So, Simpsons Spooky Light-Ups and Creepy Classics, that is my number 10. All right, my number 9, this was my first that I vividly remember. Of course, I had that memory of Bonkers and Burger King in 1993, I think. But Bobby's World was the first one that I really, truly remember. All right, this came out in 94. I believe it was like March or April of 94. I grew up watching Bobby's World. All right, I grew up. This was the show. This was a fun show. My mom adored watching this show with us, as a lot of these other cartoons in this time period. Life with Louie stands out as well. But Bobby's World was awesome, and it's weird seeing Howie Mandel with hair. I have to openly admit that. Very weird to see him, and I didn't realize how involved he was with Bobby's World. But this show was great. The imagination of Bobby, his that scratchy, squeaky voice that he had as a young kid, it was awesome. And when McDonald's dropped this toy line, very simple but very cool. I was actually looking through. I didn't bring it with me, but I was looking through some of my my toy boxes from my old studio, and I found one of the action figures. But I remember having these and playing with these over my Mima's house and having them at home. But look at these things. Look at these things. There was the 4, and hopefully some of you remember this. There was the 4 different figures, but it used to have like a snap-on cover toy. I loved the inner tube one. That was always fun, and you covered it up with the submarine. The tricycle was always really cool too. I had all of them. Loved them, and that is what like fast food kids meals are about, is just connecting with something that you love, finding something that you love, and having it, so to speak. Because there wasn't like Bobby's World toys back then. Now they make toys of everything, but you weren't going to find Bobby's World toys at KB or Toys R Us. McDonald's was where it was at. So that is my number 9, Bobby's World, from 1995. All right, my number 8. Back in the day, they did a cross promotion. I remember the 1998 version more so than the 96, but they did a cross promotion. It was like you get the boy toy or the girl toy, and the girl's toy was My Little Pony, and the boy's toy was Transformers Beast Wars Transmetals. All right, they did one in 96 as well. Some similar stuff, but I remember the 98 one very, very vividly because I had a couple of them. Dinobot was my favorite one. They also had Scorponok and the Black Arachnia. All right, they were so simple. You just move a couple things, right? Just move a couple little pieces and so on and so forth. Just I don't know, I don't know what else to say about it. They were just cool. They were just cool, and I loved Beast Wars growing up. Like, that was my show. That was my introduction to Transformers. I know some people shame on that, but Beast Wars was awesome. All right, I had a full-size Optimus Primal, figure, but for these, man, these little mini Transformers, again, they're cheap plastic toys that don't really have a whole lot of articulation. And when you get something like this that has a bunch of it, you get excited. All right, you get excited. The 96 one, I will give this one a shout-out to, but they had Panther, Rhino, Beetle, and Manta Ray. I do remember Manta Ray a little bit, the Manta Ray toy a little bit, but definitely the 98 one stands out more to myself, and that is my number 8. Number 7. This was probably the last. That's a lie. When I was consistently getting fast food kids meal toys all the time, this is probably the last one that I ever got. I was 14 at the time, and I was like, I kind of want these, bigger kid meals. But Burger King dropped this gem on May 16th, 2005, and it was the Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith action figures. Look at that poster. It is massive. The amount of toys that were in that collection, between the various ships, the various individual characters, the plushies. I got to give a huge shout out to my friend Will, because he just gave me a bag that contained all of these. And my son has been playing with all the plushie figures since he gave that to me about a month and a half ago. And we actually did some fun stuff with some of the ships. We were driving them. Because they got the wheels on them, so we push them down his slide and have some cool little bits there. But I'm a big Star Wars fan. All right, there were some other cool Star Wars fast food toys that I could have done, like the big crossover with Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and KFC that I did not partake in. I did not partake in that, but looking at some of the, that might have been that crossover was huge. But for me, Revenge of the Sith was peak. It is peak, and it was just awesome to see Star Wars get a fast food toy line. I don't think they did really anything for Attack of the Clones. I don't think they did anything for that. But Revenge of the Sith was a celebration. It was the whole saga at that point in time coming to a close. So for them to have to go all in, doing stuff from the new trilogy and the older trilogy, the original trilogy, was really neat, and I think job well done. Now that I think about it, I don't know if Burger King really does kids meal toys anymore. I don't think. But anyways, that's my number 7. My number 6. Sticking with Burger King here, I'm going to go with the Gargoyles Defenders of the Night toys from 1995. Lot of cool stuff here, man. A lot of cool stuff. Gargoyles was a special show. And it's one of those shows where you just had to be there. All right, you just had to be there for that cartoon. The actual like big toys were insane. Like the actual like full, not grown-up toys, but the full-size toys were awesome. Very expensive, very difficult to find on the resale market. But when it came to the gargoyle stuff, there was they had some fun ones. Dabbled in a little bit of everything. My favorite one, I'm going to put a picture up of it right here, was the Gargoyles Goliath spinner toy. And I remember playing the crap out of this toy. What you did was you push a little button, and there was all you seen was this rock. All right, there was this rock covering thing. And when you push this button, the rock would open up and spin, and a little Goliath action figure would be inside of it. And I played with that thing for a long time, and I remember it broke. One of the panels broke on it, and I was devastated, and I don't think I ever seen it again after that. But yeah, just I mean, hey, working out the thumbs, getting a little thumb workout there. They had some other cool toys too. Like there was the let's see, there was the mini viewer. It was like a mirror thing where you can look inside of it. There was the what was the dog one? I can't think of. But you used to put it inside, like it'd have a base, and you push a button, and it'd fly across. A lot of cool stuff here for the gargoyles, but that spinner one is like super, super nostalgic for me, and very, very fond of it. All right, on to the top 5. My number 5 is Toy Story, also from Burger King. Burger King did a really good job with their Disney run. All right, I know Toy Story, Pixar. Don't yell at me. People get very upset with that, but the Toy Story stuff was really cool because Toy Story was another like a great movie, iconic movie that I hold near and dear to my heart. I still remember going to the movie theaters back in '95 and seeing it. I've talked plenty about my first Woody doll that I got when I went to Disney World in '97. But until then, this is what I had. This is my access to them. And I used to love getting the plush action figures from these places, all right? And Woody was mostly plush. He had like a plastic head, plastic boots, but he was mostly plush, and I held on to that thing for a long time. But they used to be so warm, right? They'd pack them in like right next to the hot fries or the hot burger, and you grab the plastic, rip it open, and you had this warm, plushy action figure. And Woody was the best to me. And they had plenty of other ones too. The RC race car, that was one that I loved and adored. That was one of my favorite characters in that movie. You pull it back and it goes. I don't even know if there's a special term for it, but they had Buzz and several other of the characters, and it was just it was a very fun toy line. Shout out to that one. Toy Story comes in at my number 5. My number 4, going back to McDonald's. I think this is my last McDonald's one on here. It's a mostly Burger King list, but McDonald's in '95, '96, and '98. Did a very, very cool collection in collaboration with Walt Disney. And what they did was the Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection. And these toys would come in little VHS cassettes. All right. So the 95 one, I'm going to run through the list of it here. You got Cinderella, Robin Hood, Pocahontas, Aladdin, Snow White, Merlin, Alice, Scat Cat, and then the under 3 toy was a Dumbo. That didn't come with a VHS, I don't believe. But I remember this one very, very fondly. I know I had Robin Hood. I know I had Aladdin, and that Merlin looks very familiar. My sister may have gotten a couple of the Disney Princess ones. So that's a good one. 96, they come back from it. I remember some of these quite fondly. Bambi, Simba, Elliot from Pete's Dragon, Dodger from Oliver and Company, Woody, Princess Aurora, Donald Duck, and Tigger. Again, they did the VHS box, the mini VHS box, which was a really nice touch. I don't like the 98 line very much, but I do recall having some of these. They just put them on top of the VHSs. Not a big deal, but they had Lady and the Tramp, Pocahontas, the Penguin Waiter from Mary Poppins, Gurgi. What movie is? Oh, Black Cauldron. Band Leader Mickey, and I do remember having the Flubber one, which was really neat. But yeah, I mean, I grew up Disney movies, Disney Channel, Disney World, and the Masterpiece Collection was something that my parents would get. You know, if they seen VHS, they'd add it to the collection. Oh, here we go. We have something for movie night now. And there was, we think we still have a lot of those. I think we still have a lot of the actual VHSs, not the toys. But yeah, the Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection, very, very well done. And that comes into my number 4. All right, number 3, heading back to Burger King. All right, we're heading back to Burger King for the home stretch here. 1995, March 6th, 1995 to April 9th, 1995, Burger King teamed up with Disney for The Lion King and these finger puppets. All right, maybe some of you guys remember this. They used to come in boxes. All right, used to come in boxes. There was, they had one of the hyenas, Rafiki, Pumbaa, Scar, Simba. I think that's either older Simba or Mufasa. But yeah, you'd open up the top, and there would be the finger puppet. And you could put your finger in the bottom of it and maneuver it. And this was another one that smelled great when you were taking it out of the bag because the softness of the material on them. I had these for a long time. We held on to these for a long time. And Burger King had a really nice little run with Disney. I think there was a, I don't know if it was at this time or for a very short period of time, McDonald's and Disney had like a little bit of a feud. So they went over to Burger King, Disney did, for a short bit. I remember this one. I remember they had Hunchback of Notre Dame. Hunchback of Notre Dame dolls that were soft plush, but the Lion King one stood out the most to me because just the box, open it up and boom, there's your character. Remember those with great fondness. So that is my number 3. All right, my number 2. We're going to 2001 now. Late 2001 with the release of The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Burger King on December 17th, 2001 dropped a Lord of the Rings toy line. It lasted till January 13th of 2002, and boy oh boy was this thing awesome. I had quite a few of them. I loved going to Burger King to see which ones I got, and as you can see, what these toys would do is you buy a bunch from them and you can all connect them together, and some of them lit up, some of them made sounds. I had a few Aragorn ones. I had a few, not Saruman, but I got Elrond. I got a lot of Elrond, and not happy about it. Not happy about it. But I would get other ones through later outings, finding them at resale places and so on and so forth. But Lord of the Rings was awesome to be a part of the promotion of that film. You know, they had some. I mean, just some of the regular toys were awesome to kind of collect too, but to see an adult film, like a PG-13 film, being advertised for toys, I think it might have been a little bit controversial at the time, but nonetheless, pretty damn cool. Pretty damn cool to see all these. Obviously, there's not a whole lot of posability to it, but as somebody who used to at that time collect toys and display them, this was perfect. Absolutely perfect for it. So, The Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, that comes in at number 2. And all right, and my number 1. Very, very excited to talk about this one. Very, very excited. I have a prop that I brought with me to help talk about it. But in 1999, November 8th, 1999, the Pokemon Burger King line dropped. And to me, this is the crown jewel of fast food kids meal toys because there were so many. The hype for this was insane. The amount of times people would go through the Burger King kids meal toy lines, it was obsessive. All right, 57 different toys in a kids meal set. All right, and this is a prop. I found this on Facebook Marketplace years ago, and I bought it. This is the poster. I'm gonna move it. So I'm gonna move it in front of me a little bit here. But this is the poster from the Burger King Pokemon toy line. Isn't that awesome? This should be framed. I probably should frame this, but look at this. Look at some of this stuff. Let's hone in on some of the stuff. Let's start off with the light ups. All right. Pretty cool stuff there. I had a Charmander and a Gengar and a Mew, I believe. All right. Then you got the bean bags, which are always a nice time. The water squirters. I had a Shelder. I still have a Tentacruel. I do have some of them still. I found them pretty cheap there back in the day. You had the Pikachu talking one. There was the launchers. Those were always nice. The kind of wind-up toys. I think I had a Tauros or two. The Rev Tops. These were really neat, too. I love the spinner toys. Those were always pretty neat. You had a bunch of those. And then the keychains. A lot of keychains. And these were so cool, too, because it wasn't just the toy. If you don't remember, they came in this Pokeball. And you got to, it was a clip. And inside the ball was the toy, whatever it was. It was stuffed in there. It was awesome. But yeah, look at this. That burger and fries makes me a little hungry. Yeah, it needs to come with a card too. I almost forgot about that. Each toy includes one of their exclusive trading cards. But what a throwback! What a throwback! They would re-release it. They call it like a second chance to catch them all or something like that. They did it from March 13th, 2000 to March 26th, 2000. It did really good business. I tried to find numbers for all of this stuff to see what was the best selling, what drove more traffic. I couldn't get anything specifically, but just being in the moment, remembering all of this stuff, this Pokemon one was madness, and it came at just the original drop. It's a 2-month launch. That's massive. That is a long time for a toy, and that's over the Thanksgiving holiday. That's over the Pokemon holiday, over the Christmas holiday. That is impressive stuff. And don't forget too. Obviously, I didn't include that in here, but you could buy $2. You could buy them for $2, but it had the gold cards with the nice Pokeballs in them. What a time to be alive! What a time to be alive! But this was amazing. I'm so glad I got to live through this. And that is our list for today. All right, that is our list for today. I'm so glad I got to talk about each and every single one of these. Please, 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 if you are not subscribed, please give this video a subscribe to it. All right, give it a thumbs up too. Wouldn't hate that. Help this channel get out there and expand. I'm thankful for everybody who is part of it. All right, who already does participate and watches and comments along. I love and appreciate each and every single one of you. But there it is. Thank you so much. I love and appreciate you all. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Till next time, do you even list?